All right, the next couple examples that we're gonna look at, I kind of just feel like they're little puzzles, okay? And then we just have to figure it out. So we have to read carefully and understand the information that the problem is giving us. So here we go. So we're gonna write an equation in slope-intercept form. So that's the first thing. Our answer, this is our answer. It has to be in slope-intercept form, which is, do you know it? You should. If you don't know it, you gotta memorize it. Y equals mx plus b. It tells you two things. It tells you the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so that's our answer. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through a point, right? So it's giving us a point, xy, and is parallel to this line. So it's giving us two clues. The first clue is this. First clue is this point. And they're giving us that point because they're telling us an x and a y of our line. And then the next clue they're giving us is that it's parallel to this line. So our line isn't this line. Our line is just parallel to this line. And what does that tell us? What's the clue? What's the clue? What's the clue? Yes, it's telling us that our line has the same slope of this line. So if we know the slope of this line, we know the slope of our line. And what's the slope? This is in slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b. And the slope is 3. So now what do we have? We have, for our line, we know a slope and we know a point. So what can we use? Yes, we can use point-slope form. So let's use it. Y minus y1 equals m multiplied by the quantity x minus x1. We can plug in these values. This is going to be my x1, that's going to be my y1. Okay, so let's do this. Y minus y1 is 4 equals, the slope is 3, x minus x1 is 2. And yeah, now we just need to put it into slope-intercept form. This is in point-slope form, right? But we can put it into slope-intercept form just by solving for y. So we need to distribute this 3 first. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and then just solve for y. So we're gonna add 4 to both sides. And we end up with y equals 3x, negative 6 plus 4 is minus 2. And there is our answer. That's the equation of our line. We did it. Woohoo! All right, on to the next one. And what I have to tell you about these, like I've seen these on SAT, like prep questions and things like this. So this is really, really important that you know how to solve these, all right? They're just like little puzzles, but there's a lot of stuff you have to know in order to get the right answer. So that's why it's such a great like SAT question, right? Because you have to know the slope-intercept form, you gotta know about parallel, you gotta know about all these lines and point-slope form, you gotta know so many different concepts just to get the right answer, and that's what they wanna know. So really study this, spend some time, watch this video again if you need to really get this concept down. On to the next. Okay, so this one says, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through the point and is perpendicular to y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, so what does our answer need to be in? It needs to be in slope-intercept form, right? So that's what our answer needs to be in. And that's y equals mx plus b. Now, what are the clues? The first clue, can you see it? Write your answer in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through this point. Okay, that's the first clue, super important because that's telling us that, what is it telling us? It's telling us an x and it's telling us a y of our equation. Perfect. What's the second clue? That it's perpendicular to this line. Now, why would that be a clue? If they said it's perpendicular to this line, what is that telling us about our line? Well, right, anything that's perpendicular to this means that the slope is going to be opposite sign reciprocal. So if this slope right here is 2/3, right, this is the slope of this line, it's telling us the slope of our line is going to be negative because this is positive, our slope's going to be negative, and it's going to be reciprocal. So this is 2/3, so the slope of our line is going to be the reciprocal, which is going to be 3/2. So now that's the clue. Now we have a point and we have a slope. So what form could we put that into that has a point and a slope? You guessed it, point-slope form. So let's do it. Y minus y1 equals m multiplied by the quantity x minus x1, right? Okay, so this is going to be my x1, this is going to be my y1, that's going to be my slope. I substitute the values in. y1 is 5 equals my slope is negative 3/2. X minus x1 is 2. Okay, then I just need to distribute this to both things. And I end up with y minus 5 equals negative 3 over 2x. Negative times a negative is a positive. 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. So I'm multiplying fractions here, and those cancel out. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 2 one time. Then I just simplify. And when I multiply across, I get 3 times 1, which is 3, and then 1 times 1, which is 1. 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3. All right, and then we just need to get y by itself because remember the problem asked for us to put it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and I end up with the equation y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 8. And that's my answer. So I did it. All right, let's go ahead and look at the next problem here. So what we're going to do here is write the slope of a line that is parallel and perpendicular to the line. So we have a line here. It's nice because it's in slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b. So we have to write the slope of a line that is parallel and perpendicular. So one that is parallel, right, if the slope is right here, parallel would be the same slope. So it would just be m equals 3. No, what am I doing? Oh my goodness, you know, correction tape is amazing. Same slope, this is a 6, Joy. Same slope would be a 6. Okay, and then perpendicular, this is positive, so that would mean our slope would be negative, and this is 6 over 1, so it's gonna be a reciprocal of that, which would be 1 over 6. All right, that is it. So what I want you to do is I want you to work on 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so here's my friend the pause dragon. Remind you to pause your device, work out 13, 14, 15. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about them together. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, let's see how you did. So we're gonna figure out what is a slope that's parallel and perpendicular to this right here. And this is in slope-intercept form, which is great because it tells us the slope, and the slope is right here, y equals mx plus b. So the slope that's parallel has to be the same, so m equals 4/3. And a slope that's perpendicular, this is positive, so it has to have an opposite sign, and it has to be a reciprocal, which would be 3/4. So if you put those down, you would be doing a wonderful job. Great job. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, for this equation, we're gonna write an equation in slope-intercept form. So we know our answer is going to be in y equals mx plus b. And passing through the lines, passes through the point 6, 5, and is parallel to y equals negative x plus 4. So it gives us a clue. The first one is this point, and the second one is that our line is parallel to this line right here. And if our line is parallel, it means it has the same slope. And the slope of this line is -1, so that means the slope of our line is also going to be -1. So we have a slope and we have a point. This is going to be our x1, y1, so we can put it into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m multiplied by the quantity, x minus x1. And then we just input the values. So y minus y1 would be 5 equals -1, so I'll just put a negative. X minus x1 is 6. And then we just need to go ahead and simplify this and get it into slope-intercept form by making it equal to y. So I'm going to distribute this negative to both things first. Rewrite this. A negative times x is negative x. A negative times a negative is a positive 6. And then we're just going to get y by itself by doing the inverse operation of a -5, which would be adding 5 to both sides, the addition property of equality. Those cancel. We're left with y equals negative x. 6 plus 5 is 11. So if you got that right, woohoo, you did an amazing job. On to the next one. We're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form, right? So that's what our answer needs to be in. Our answer needs to be in the form y equals mx plus b for the line that passes through the point 8, -1, and is perpendicular to y equals -4 minus 7. So it's giving us clues. The first clue is that it passes through this point. This point is on our line. And the second clue is that it's perpendicular to this line. So if our line is perpendicular to this, we know that our slope is going to have an opposite sign. So the slope here is -4. So if this is negative, our slope is going to be positive. and it's going to be a reciprocal. So if this is 4 over 1, the reciprocal, it's going to be a reciprocal. Our slope's going to be reciprocal of this, which is going to be 1/4. So now we know a point and we know a slope. This is going to be our x1, y1, so we can put it into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m multiplied by the quantity x minus x1, and then we just substitute everything in. Y minus y1 is -1 equals m, which is 1/4. X minus x1, which is 8. Then we're going to simplify this, right? A negative and a negative are a positive, so we end up with y plus 1, and then we're going to distribute this as well. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x. 1/4 times a negative 8 is 1/4 times 8. And this is 8 over 1. So we're multiplying fractions, and you always look to cross cancel first. So is there a common factor between 4 and 8? The answer is yes, there is. 4. 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 8 two times. And then I'm just going to rewrite all of this. Rewrite, rewrite, rewrite. And then I have a negative. 1 times 2 is 2, and then 1 times 1 is 1. 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. So we are so close. We just need to get y by itself. So we're going to do the inverse operation of addition, which would be subtraction. We're going to subtract both sides by 1. And then we end up with -2 minus 1 would be -3. So there we have it. There's our answer. If you got that one right, woohoo, that is amazing. You are doing wonderful. Okay, let's look at our last 2 examples here. So this problem says, what does this say? It says, write an equation describing the line that is parallel to the y-axis and is 4 units to the left of the y-axis. Okay, all right, let's think about this. So we're going to write an equation describing the line that is parallel. Okay, so it's parallel. That means it's the same slope. So it's parallel to the y-axis. So what is parallel to the y-axis? Here's the y-axis. So something that's parallel means it's going to be like x equals something, right? That's what our answer is going to be. Okay, so that's what that's telling. Anything that the equation, if it's parallel to the y-axis, is going to be x equals something. So then the second clue, n is 4 units left. 4 units left of the y-axis. So here's the y-axis. 4 units left would be 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be this right here. So that would be our line, which is x equals -4. All right, that is it. Okay, I want you to try 17 on your own. So here's my friend, the pause dragon. Remind you to pause your device. Go ahead and work it out. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about it. Okay, let's see how you did. Okay, so that says, write an equation describing a line that is perpendicular to the y-axis and is 2 units above the x-axis. Okay, so what is the first thing that they are saying to us? The first thing they're saying is write an equation describing a line that is perpendicular to the y-axis. So if it's perpendicular, here's the y-axis. So something perpendicular would be like this. This is perpendicular, right? So that means anything that is this, right? This is a, what is this? This is a horizontal line, which means it's going to be y equals something. So we know our equation is going to be y equals something. Okay, so let's go to the next bit of information, which says, and is 2 units above the x-axis. So we know it's like this, right? And it's 2 units. So this is 2 units above the x-axis. So it would be this particular line right there, which would be y equals 2. So if you got that right and you did that graph, amazing. Okay, that is it for this lesson. You did it. You did a wonderful job, and we'll see you in a little bit for the next lesson. All right, bye.